Hi everyone. So from time to time, I get midway through making a new review and then I just stop for one reason or another. Maybe I don't like how it's turning out, maybe I get to a point where I can't carry on making it. There's a bunch of different reasons why I have cancelled more reviews than I finished. And I recently stumbled across a few that I never finished, and I thought I might as well just show it to you guys. First up is a review of Battlefield 1. I actually got really far in this video. It got like 6 minutes worth done, something like that. The reason I stopped making it is because none of it sounded any good. I didn't like any of it, and I just couldn't be bothered to just remake the whole thing, so I just cancelled it. I just thought it sounded awful, so yeah, here's the review of that. Enjoy! Battlefield 1. I feel like I should make it pretty clear that I ain't no online multiplayer connoisseur. I've always been more of a single player guy, really. I can name the amount of online games that I regularly enjoy on one hand, one of them being Battlefield 1943. Flying planes, driving tanks, driving cars, shooting guys. For whatever reason, I just found this game so much fun. I've never been very good at it, as this footage probably demonstrates, but gosh darn it, do I like it. In an age where 99% of first-person shooters released today look like this, I often find myself coming back to games like this, hoping that at some point, games like this will make a comeback. And then Battlefield 1 happened, and I honestly cannot put it into words how happy I was to see it. Finally, a gritty, grimy, period piece first-person Battlefield game, yes! So this is honestly completely perfect for me. Just like 1943, Battlefield 1 has the potential to be the right game at the right time for me, because this is exactly the kind of game I was hoping to see. So anyway, let's find out. Does this game live up to the potential? Let's find out right now. In Battlefield 1, you play as a whole bunch of guys. Instead of one big campaign, Battlefield 1 splits it into 6 separate mini-stories, giving it more of an anthology feel than anything else. And I'm gonna be honest, I was really skeptical about this at first, but I actually really like it a lot. It reinforces the idea that the focus is never on one guy. It's a game about the war, about that time period in general, not the story of one person, one hero braving the war. It's a game about the war, the entire planet facing the war. This gives you multiple different perspectives and vastly different kinds of stories, and I was surprised by how genuinely solid they all were. I was just expecting it to be a forgettably obligatory campaign because, I mean, who cares? No one's playing it for the story anyway, so let's just half-arse it. Well, at least that's what I thought they were going to do. But they didn't do that. They actually put a lot of thought into the presentation and the storytelling of this game. For example, I like the characters a lot. I cared about them despite the few hours that I spent with them. They had legitimately well done character arcs that worked, that made them likable. I liked it. There's also a part in pretty much every campaign where the heat is on and the odds are stacked against you and the music ramps up, and god damn it, it just comes together so well, and I really enjoyed it when it comes up with the main Battlefield theme. That really set my nostalgia going. I like that. I like how they did that. I really didn't expect to be sitting here right now telling you that it is as good as it is, but it is as good as it is. So there you go. Man, that about sums up the Battlefield 1 campaign, but who cares, am I right? Why would I play the campaign? I only bought the game for the online. So tell me, how is the online? As it turns out, it's pretty bloody fantastic. I really like how minimalistic the online mode is without feeling too empty, not only because that means idiots like me can easily latch onto it, but I think it just works better. Honestly, I am so bad at this game that it actually congratulated me when I finally managed to kill someone. Thank you, Gabe, thank you. I sure did. Go me. It's a simple case of catching flags, killing the enemy team, completing mini objectives, doing whatever you would expect to do, and it more or less trims the fat when it comes to everything else. I guess going thematically with the game, you could say that it has some good old-fashioned fun, and honestly, I think that's why it works so well. The guns in the game feel like they have real weight and impact. You have to treat them as though they really are guns from that time period. For example, taking wind and aerodynamics into account when shooting from long distances, and taking into account just how long it takes you to reload your weapon. It's things like that that make me feel like Battlefield 1 knew where to be simple, and knew where to add depth to the game and knew how to make you think about how you play. And not only that, it's cool little touches like that that really cement Battlefield 1 in that time period even further. From what I know Battlefield to be with 1943, I was really happy to see that this game is pretty much an extension of that. You can fly planes, you can drive cars, you can drive tanks, ride a horse, drive a boat, shoot guys. That was my favourite part of the game. I'm glad they kept in that feature. It's just simple, solid World War I gameplay in a variety of incredible looking maps. Not that it needs to be said whatsoever, but this game looks goddamn phenomenal. Honestly, this game floored me even more than Uncharted 4, and that is no small feat. The way this game manages to be both drab and grim, but yet at the same time so beautifully colourful, reminds me a lot of The Dark Knight, a movie that definitely shows that they know how to handle lighting and colours in a movie, but yet also set a very distinct dark tone. This game also demonstrated that really well, and I really appreciated that. It would have been really easy for the game to be like, we want this game to be dark, so let's just make the game dark and grey and brown. But they didn't do that. They made it look good, while also making it very sad. So that's good. That's really good. I like that a lot. The only real complaint I have with the game is that trying to get into a game with my friend in a party didn't really work straight away. On more than one occasion we both went into a game and only I would make it to the other side, whereas he was still on the loading screen or in a waiting room somehow. So I'd have to leave, try again, and just keep doing that until it worked, which it did eventually, but it should have worked the first time. That and a bit of slowdown during one of the tank sections, the battle pack system which feels really out of place in a game like this, and the name. I don't like the name. I get why the name is the name, but I don't think the name is a good name. I wish they named the name a different name. Overall, Battlefield 1 is everything I want. Boy oh boy, wasn't that awful. I didn't even change the video for the last 2 minutes, just one long continuous clip. That's how work in progress that video was. Next video, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Again, did not like how any of it was turning out. There was too much of it that I had to redo. So I just thought, nah, skip the whole thing. Go on another hiatus, that works out for me. Do that instead. Here you are. Enjoy. Rise of the Tomb Raider, aka the game that I should have received a year ago, but I didn't because of stupid business decisions. Rise of the Tomb Raider. I've always been a fan of Tomb Raider growing up. I didn't get much of a chance to play the PS1 games, but games like Tomb Raider Anniversary and Legend dominated a few years of my life. I've always been a fan of exploring dungeons, dodging traps, going on a crazy adventure, and I think Tomb Raider is partially responsible for that. In a video game. I mean, I've never done it in real life, obviously. I've never been on that Nickelodeon Crystal Temple of the Legend Hidden Monkey show. What was that show called again? I don't remember. And maybe Tomb Raider isn't exactly the same beast that it was before, but I've still been keeping up with the franchise up until today. So what do I think of the brand new smash hit, brand spanking 2015 hit new game, Rise of the Tomb Raider? Well, there's only one way to find out. Rise of the Tomb Raider, as always, centers around Lara Croft, this time on an expedition for the lost city of Katesh and a prophet that allegedly promises immortality. Honestly, on paper it is pretty good. There's definitely something there. How it ties into Lara's father and how that motivates her is genuinely really cool, and it is a really intriguing premise. But this story doesn't exist in a vacuum. The story is told through boring characters that deliver pretty flat, lifeless dialogue for the entirety of the game. Like, there were certain scenes where like every single line of dialogue was delivered exactly like how you would imagine it would be. If you've ever seen a movie that's done a scene like this before, you know exactly how the scene is going to play out. Honestly, I don't even really find Lara that engaging. Everything she says seems really stilted. She just sounds like a voice actor delivering her lines a little bit too fast and a little bit too loud, which is what I do in these videos, but this is free YouTube content. I can get away with it. She can't.
This isn't over. Bastard!
I don't remember noticing this when I reviewed the first game in this reboot series, and I think I might know why, but I'll get onto that in a little bit. Man, oh man, aren't you glad that you finally got to see that? Probably not. Finally, a quick fire review of Far Cry Primal. A while ago I was thinking, why don't I try doing some quick fire reviews? Because, you know, I'll be able to get this done a bit faster, won't take me as long, something for people to watch in between proper reviews. But I didn't even manage to finish a quickfire review because that's how terrible I am. To be honest, I don't really think this one's that bad. I just didn't finish it. I don't really know why. I don't remember if the audio sounds bad. I didn't actually watch this one back beforehand. So I don't know if this is any good or not. Either way, you be the judge. Here's the video. Bye. Far Cry Primal Quickfire Review. I wanted to review this game a while ago, but I got sick, and now that I'm better, nobody cares about this game anymore, so I'm just going to do a quickfire review and work on something else instead. I don't know, maybe a PS3 game or something that worked well last time, so whatever. Alright, go! Far Cry Primal is pretty good, although it's kind of hard to say whether you'll get anything out of this game if you're not already a fan of Far Cry. It does have quite a few new things to it, and there's definitely more of an emphasis on exploring the world and hunting at night and doing caveman things, but when you really get right down to it, you're still doing Far Cry-esque missions and taking down settlements and doing everything you was doing before. As someone who purely played Far Cry 3 and 4 just to drive cars off cliffs and goof around, I was kinda apprehensive about this game seeing as there aren't any cars. But Far Cry Primal actually does a pretty good job of building the game in such a way so that it doesn't feel like a loss. The Land of Auros isn't really one that would be fun to drive around in, so I guess it works. They did a good job of making up for it, I guess. The story is pretty much bare bones, haha, get it, because cavemen, and the characters are pretty much the same as well. I mean, saying that I did like this guy, I can't really say that there were many characters in Far Cry 4 that stuck out to me, aside from the bloody obligatory crazy zany villain that every Far Cry game needs to have, apparently. But yeah, I like this guy. I think he's pretty cool. He reminds me of Rafiki from Lion King. I mean, not in a racial way, God, but because he's like a shaman. God, oh God, I shouldn't have said that.
I should not have said that.
I don't really get much enjoyment from taking down settlements in this game, as it feels like stealth as a whole is more or less impossible unless you upgrade your skill set to the point where it just breaks the game. I just made it so I can get my owl friend to fly around, swoop down and kill a guy, wait for this to run out, and then rinse and repeat until I've won, and that's how I beat the game. That really isn't how I want to play the game at all, but it's either I do that or spend half an hour killing 3 guys and hoping to God that this is one of those times where they don't see me when I'm right in front of them, instead of those other times when they see me a mile away, because this game's room for error is so bloody arbitrary. Hey, there you are. I haven't made a review in God knows how long, but there's 3 brand new reviews for you. As for those of you wondering where the next review is, I'm sorting out an operation right now. I'm actually sorting out a real operation, hopefully within the next few months. After that, I'll be able to make reviews like crazy. It's actually happening. Like, I'm actually genuinely, finally, really sorting something out. So hopefully it won't be too long. Hopefully I won't have to tide you over with unfinished, terrible reviews for much longer. There'll be some new content soon. Either way, thank you guys for being so patient. Have a nice day. Ugh. I feel weird ending a video by saying have a nice day. This is what working in retail does to you.